Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. My video was not supposed to be about Bitcoin, but things just happened. I was actually supposed to talk about gaia-x, the company that's this federated organization, data organization that's supposed to partner with fetch.ai. But then I was looking for information, but I couldn't find that much information just yet. What I found is that they're building their own ecosystem, they're building their own decentralized autonomous organization, and they're building their own token. But we heard from one of the CTOs of fetch.ai that the FET token will be a big player, it will be a big component within the gaia-x ecosystem. But as I said in the video that I did yesterday, I'm gonna leave it right there because as I've done quite a bit of reading, I still can't find a direct connection or even mention of fetch.ai. The only connection that we can find, or the connections that we can find, is that there's a lot of companies that have a huge interest in gaia-x. And BMW, Microsoft, Bosch. I mean, the only company that I think I haven't seen is Apple, but there's like 300 companies here. Maybe I missed it, but but there's others, Amazon, Alibaba, and so many other companies. Over 300 huge conglomerates and companies interested in this. But the thing is, Bitcoin, the thing that started it all, that started everything, there's only 21 million of them. Fine, you can own other currencies and you can make more money from other currencies, but there's an aura it creates when you walk into a room and you say, I have Bitcoin. It's the name, it's the brand, it's the recognition. There's so many phones out there that probably have better functionalities than the iPhone, but there's just something about owning an iPhone. So that is Bitcoin. It's old, it's antiquated, but it is the signature, it is that ticket, it is that OG ticket. If you've been around in the cryptocurrency space for a long time, then it is that one thing that you might want to hold, at least even a little bit of it. The target for everyone is 1 million Bitcoin. People like Michael Saylor refer to it as real estate. Of course, Michael Saylor is way more articulate because he has way more experience in this kind of in the business of technology. But of course, someone like Michael Saylor he's an entrepreneur, he's a business person, and he has a deep understanding of economics, fiscal policy, financial policy, technology. I mean, that's why he's the CEO, and that's why he has a lot of influence in a company like MicroStrategy. I mean, everyone listens to what he says. First of all, because he's deciding to put a lot at stake in buying Bitcoin. But there's two caveats to that. If you oppose the guy, first of all, I imagine he has a lot of influence. If you oppose the guy and Bitcoin ends up being extremely successful, then, I mean, you've destroyed some. So there's a risk that you're taking as an individual, as an employee or whatever, as an advisor in that company. But if you don't say anything, then Michael Saylor is the one that takes the fall for everything. But the point here is, in as much as you can make so much money in other currencies as trading them, there's just something about owning a Bitcoin, and there's just something about only ever being 21 million Bitcoins. Bitcoin we can never say never, but Bitcoin going to $101 is something that probably isn't going to happen anytime soon, because if Bitcoin went to $1, then I mean, I can just say I'll buy up all the Bitcoin, right? And other people are going to say the same thing. So that demand is always going to be there. The demand is always going to supersede the supply of this currency. Those of you that have read Nietzsche talks about the overman. The overman is essentially being an individual that supersedes your own being and become extremely aware of your own existence, to the point that you're aware of your flaws, you're aware of your actions, you're aware of your thoughts, you're aware of everything, to the point that you can make decisions beyond your environmental influence. You're truly an independent person in your thinking and in your ways and in the way you conduct yourself. Extremely external of the general norm in society. And there's different levels to development. There's being a camel when you're just born. Then when you transcend that level, you can reach the level of being a lion. And then when you transcend that level, you then go into the level that developmental, at the highest level, which is actually being a baby. And there's those stages in development in life where you start off as a camel, you're sluggish, you're just following along with what everyone tells you. Then as you mature into that lion stage, is that you start to make your own independent decisions and decipher and develop your own path. Then when you become a baby, you become indifferent to the things around you, and you become, of course, more empathetic, but you're very self-aware, but you're not affected. You're more stoic in your thinking and in your ways. I mean, if you can't change something, then don't complain about it. But if you can change it, then by all means, do something about it. So there's a couple of things that we've been seeing going around. China wanting to ban Bitcoin. In my opinion, these are distractions. These are things that we call distractions. These maybe the government wants to have a monopoly. Maybe the government is scared that as more individuals mine a lot of Bitcoin, when Bitcoin achieves that, a very high price, let's just keep things simple, then these individuals will have way too much power. So we know some governments want to retain that control in terms of power, in terms of money, in terms of influence. So there's a tremendous amount of politics that's involved in this, and you don't want to be distracted by the news. Do what they do, not what they say. So Bitcoin is a very powerful force. Of course, there's things like Ethereum. I mean, those that have been watching this channel, you understand I have my grievances with Ethereum, because in as much as it's an amazing technology, it has flaws. It has expensive gas fees. It's very slow. And they haven't rolled out this technology that they're talking about, graduating to Ethereum 2.0. So my thought is the world just going to sit around for the next 10 years waiting for Ethereum to upgrade? Who knows? But I see such news. Finance Redefined, the $500 million bet on Ethereum 2.0 making waves, June 24th, July. We've been seeing these dates for so many years. I'm rooting for Ethereum. Hope they make it. And I think that's where I'll leave it, guys. So we have this article here. Bitcoin supply shock now in play, says on-chain analyst Will Clement. This is just one man's opinion. Emerging on-chain analyst Will Clemente says he's closely watching the activities of two types of Bitcoin investors as BTC continues to trade above the $30,000 mark. Clemente tells his 129,500 Twitter followers that a supply-side crisis may be on the horizon as investors with strong hands or with little history of selling pounce onto BTC amid its downward price action. It's status, guys. Go out there, try to offer anyone in the world Bitcoin and see their reaction. I mean, any kind of, chances are if you try to offer anyone cryptocurrency, because there's money, there's a monetary perspective attached to cryptocurrencies, there's a chance they will accept it. I mean, they'll be very excited to receive it, but there's just something about Bitcoin. So that's something that we have to watch out for, especially if you're a veteran in this space. There's something you want to have on check. Ethereum was one of those, but let's give it some time to see where it's going. So of course there's a supply shock on Bitcoin. Of course a lot of people are buying up Bitcoin. Even those that sold, those that managed to sell at the tip of Bitcoin's high price of I think around 63,000, of course they want to buy back in, because the thing is half its price right now. So we have to watch this space. The best way to benefit from the cryptocurrency space is by sticking around. Right now, when things are quiet, when TikTok is quiet, when Twitter is quiet, when everyone is distracted and the phase is gone, the exuberance is gone, that irrational mindset is gone, the herds are gone, this is the time to pay attention to these things. Bitcoin fractal setup from 2019 hints BTC price could rebound back to 50,000. Who knows? No one knows. But apparently we haven't yet seen the historical chart of how Bitcoin has been moving. A lot of people are stating that we haven't really hit that bottom, but who knows? Anything can happen in these markets. Like any news could come out, any extremely negative news could come out that could completely demolish the price temporarily. But if you're looking at a long-term perspective, if you have that long-term view of where things are going, then you cannot be distracted by short-term price movements. So, I mean, Bitcoin only has 21 million tokens out there. So whether you like it or not, regardless, as long as the technology is sound, if Bitcoin ever reaches a very low price, people are gonna buy up that stuff, even if it's just for status. I own a bunch of Bitcoin, this amount of Bitcoin. That alone is enough to create that huge demand as the thing that started it all. Then we can see news here: Wyoming legally recognizes first decentralized autonomous organization in the United States. Good for the United States. They've been slacking off. They've been slow in adoption of cryptocurrencies. So I think certain states are realizing the importance of understanding this space, of adopting this space, of adapting to this space, and of integrating these things that are going to change the world. But, you know, we can't sit around waiting around for the United States to fully engage in this space. I mean, the world has to move on. Things have to move on. The cryptocurrency space waits for no man or woman. It waits for no financial instruments. It keeps moving. It's an animal that has been released, the kraken that's going to, the phoenix that has risen from the ashes, the very symbol of freedom, of liberty, of decentralization, the symbol of decentralized finance outside of the control of governments, of authoritarian systems, outside of tyranny. It's a representation of a free market. We can see here crypto assets that surged 47 million%. Of course, this is the token Shiba Inu, the so-called Dogecoin killer, the so-called Dogecoin killer. I mean, these things will always happen in the cryptocurrency space. So what you do with your money, what you do with your hard-earned money is your choice. But this was an article covered, or a video that was done by Coin Bureau, stating that it's looked into Shiba Inu and Coinbase wants to list this. It's a shame that where we've reached today, I mean, this has nothing to do with this video, but it's a shame where we reached today that we wait for validation from a centralized entity like Coinbase to determine the validity of cryptocurrencies. It's such a shame. Those are distractions, guys. It's a good way to make money, but it definitely does not fall in line with the linear progression of where things are headed in the cryptocurrency space. So guys, thanks for watching today. But my video was a bit all over the place, but the main focus, I guess, was Bitcoin. But the main point, if you to take away anything, is that be an independent thinker. Stick around. Pay attention when things are quiet, and pay attention to the things that matter. Look at the cryptocurrencies that have been around for a long time and see what they're doing, where they're going. Are they still relevant? Maybe make a decision to continue having a part of some of those digital currencies, especially ones that have been around. Then look into the new stuff. But the most important thing is to stick around and continue paying attention and continue learning. So guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you learned something. I always do. So I hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye, guys.